Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to one of your favorite videos that I do. We are going to look at the nominees and the winner of the 175th Akutagawa Prize here in Japan. This is a major literary prize in Japan. It is the most prestigious literary prize. It is a prize that looks at books that have some sort of commentary on some sort of social aspect of society. This is compared to the prize that is announced alongside of it called the Naoki Prize, and the Naoki Prize is a prize that looks at genres. It's not a specific genre, but any sort of genre fiction can be nominated and it gives a prize for that. Both of these prizes, like I said, they're announced together and they also occur twice in a year. So the 175th Akutagawa Prize that we're doing right now looks at the books that were nominated for the first half of 2026. Okay, so let's look at the nominees who did not win. Let's start off with the first one by Suzuki Suzumi for their book called Waruichi, which means bad blood. Now, we've seen this author before. We saw them in 2022 for the 167th prize, and when they were nominated for the book Gifted, which was about a hostess in Japan isn't like a hostess in the US where it's just like the woman who takes down reservation. No, it's not even a woman. It could be a host or a hostess, but the person who takes down reservations and leads customers to their seat at a restaurant. No, in Japan, a hostess is someone who works in the sort of adult entertainment industry where it's these bars where, and it can be a hostess or a host. It does go in both directions, both genders. Both men and women have their own version of this, but a hostess or a host is someone that you sit down at a bar where you pay by the hour and you pay for the alcohol, and the hostess talks with you and provides company for you. So the book Gifted that Suzuki Suzumi had previously been nominated for was about a hostess who was taking care of her mother. Now, the book Bad Blood is about this woman who becomes pregnant, and because she is pregnant, she needs to do lab work to sort of make sure everything is going well. So she gets a blood test at the hospital, but the thing about our protagonist, so she's in her 30s, and she kind of grew up with this idea that that blood can reveal things about you more than just, blood, what lab results do. So she thinks she thinks that she has done quite a lot of bad things in her past, and she's afraid that the blood, her blood sample will reveal that. So in the book, she decides she's going to go back to the hospital and get the blood back. So that's what Bad Blood is about. Waruichi. All right. The next book is a book called Maguro by Ren Nishina. Nishina Ren. Since I'm talking to you guys in English, I keep giving first name first and last name, but I should be doing the other way. But I don't know. I get confused which way I should do it. So Nishina Ren is a foreign-born author. He is of Chinese background. He had a few countries listed in his bio, but he lived in Hong Kong for quite a bit of time. But he did write this book in Japanese, of course. You have to write in Japanese for it to be nominated for the prize. Now, this book, as I said, it's called Maguro, and the thing is that Maguro is a word in Japanese, and it means sincerity and devotion. Like the kanji is literally a true heart. However, the kanji for this book, even though it's the same reading, Magokuro, the kanji is different. And I don't know the significance of that. I would have to read the book myself to understand what that is. But the book is kind of hard to explain, so I'm going to look at my notes carefully. So it's the story of an architecture professor and a student whose name is Ren. And basically, they're trying to turn this abandoned apartment building in China, and they're trying to turn it into a art museum. And it seems to be a book about the contradictions that exist in Chinese society. For example, the dynamics that a student and a professor are supposed to have or not have, these sort of complications that result from a society that is supposed to technically be dismissing the idea of people having wealth, but at the same time, wealth being necessary to be able to do something like an art museum. It's also looking at the dynamics between these residences who are being forced to vacate the building, and then the people who are trying to turn the building into something. So in a way, like, the residents are being forced to remove them from their home, so it seems like they're bad people, but at the same time, you know, you're making an art museum, which is a contribution to society, right? Like, that's a good thing. So the book seems to be looking at the dynamics, all like the contradictory dynamics that exist to sort of fulfill this project. Now, looking at reviews, I think this was one of the sort of least successful books. A lot of people find it kind of confusing. A lot of Japanese people saying because it was written of someone of Chinese background, that like the kanji use is really kind of strange and really sort of a little bit off-putting. The reading, it makes the reading quite difficult, and it feels like a little bit bogged down. And the focus that the author chooses to, like, the part of the book that the author chooses to focus on seems to be a little bit too niche, and I think a lot of people tend to agree that it's a book that would have done better by focusing more on the social aspects, it seems. So if you're wondering why this book didn't win, I think that gives you sort of an idea. I flipped through this book a little bit at the bookstore, and I have to admit, when I was looking at it, I was kind of like, ooh, I don't know if I want to read this. This looks a little bit complicated, but there we go. I mean, I shouldn't give too much of my personal bias when I present these books, but you know, I can't help it. All right, the next book is called Solitaire おじさんが Solitaire おじさんがいた頃. So when the Solitaire man was here, and Solitaire means the card game you play on the computer, and this book is by Murashi Yu. Okay, so this book is, we have this our protagonist Luna, who works at a miso manufacturing and sales company, and while she's there, the man who is known for playing solitaire at work passes away shortly after having just retired, and so her and other people at work decide to attend his wake. And the thing is that the company I don't know how to say it, but like, the company she's working at, she feels like there's not really a future with it. So the book is looking at what happens, like, when you feel like you just don't have a future with something. And so it's about coming to a point where you feel like you can part with something, that you can choose something new, do something different, go against the path that you thought you were on, or that you thought that you had to stay on. So it's basically it's a book about those small little events in our life that seem maybe not insignificant, but because I do think the death of a person is obviously significant, but it is the death of just a co-worker who just kind of existed. So this slight little event comes to change her life in a big way. And so the book is about that, like how little things can cause you to really just revamp everything. So that is Solitaireおじさんがいた頃. All right. The next book that was nominated and did not win, unfortunately, is by an author we know very well in English-speaking literary world, right? The author is Emi Yagi. Like, if you read Japanese fiction, although I haven't actually read her works, but she's very, very popular. So you should recognize her for Diary of a Void, right? Diary of Void. A lot of people have read that book and they've told me, you know, you need to read this, you need to read this. But also the book that is coming out this year, or has come out this year, and I even talked about it when I did my video about works coming out in 2026. But yeah, the book When the Museum is Closed, right? You guys recognize that, right? So she already has books that have been translated into English, but this is actually the first time she gets nominated for an Akutagawa Prize. So that's really interesting because it's usually the opposite. Usually it's once you win the prize, you're going to start getting, or it's not even like once you win the prize, but sometimes just getting nominated for the prize means that now publishers abroad have seen you and they'll start translating works. But no, this Emi Yagi was translated first before she ever got nominated for the prize. So I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, so her book is called Auntie Good Morning, which means Auntie Good Morning. Okay. And this one actually sounds really fun. I think this will definitely get translated for sure. I mean, she's already been translated before, and also again, this was nominated. She's gonna get translated. So don't worry. It will come out. I'm sure it'll happen. And then with such a good title as Auntie Good Morning, I doubt they changed the title. Like this is one of those times where I really feel you don't need to change the title. It's perfect the way it is. So Auntie Good Morning is basically this woman, our protagonist, who suffers from quite severe insomnia, and it's I don't know if it's something she's always suffered from or if it's like a sudden onset, but she's suffering from insomnia, and it's been a few months, and her husband is trying to help out. But the thing is that like her husband is trying to be very positive about it. It's like, okay, it's okay, you're gonna get over it, like this is just maybe like it'll be fine, like things will be good. But the thing is that like her company is also almost like too happy-go-lucky. So the company that she works with, they're very much they're trying to be like, if don't like always reply to emails very like immediately, like very quickly. And if you use an like emoji, if you use the like little smiley faces and things, always make sure you're using the positive ones. It has a motto that problem solving is more important than criticism. So it's really like a really modern, forward thinking Japanese company, because Japanese companies aren't really known for their positive energy, you know, go, like be happy. But the thing is that like everything in our protagonist feels like everything in society is trying too hard to be positive, and you know, don't worry, there's nothing bad, like, you know, this is just leading to a better future. And for someone who's suffering from insomnia, it's like, come on guys, like please be realistic. Not everything is roses and honey and happy smiley faces. It's not. And so this book is really about her sort of trying to navigate this world that's telling her to be happy-go-lucky when really she's truly suffering. So that is Auntie Good Morning. I think that will get translated no matter what. So I guess look forward to that one. All right, so let's get into our winner, who is Kosagawa Chito. Kosagawa Chito. She hasn't been translated into English yet, but I think she will from now on out. So you wouldn't recognize her name from being translated, but perhaps you recognize her name because she has already been nominated twice before. In fact, all three of her books so far have been translated. Not been translated. All three of her books have previously been nominated for the Akutagawa Prize, and now she finally wins. So maybe this book will ring a bell. Do you remember me talking about this? 家庭用安心交付. This was the book about a mother and daughter who have this mannequin in their home that is supposed to be like a mannequin that helps you. So it's just enjoyable. It's nice. It's kind of like having a friend at home, you know, like it's like having like a friendly robot, but this time it is it's a mannequin. So this was her debut book that was initially nominated in 2022 for the 167th prize, which is actually she shares. So her and the author of Bad Blood, the Suzuki Suzumi, were both nominated together as well in that Akutagawa Prize in 2022. But yeah, so this one was nominated in 2022. Then she had the book Saru no Taikanshiki, which was A Monkey's Coronation. So she was nominated for that one in 2024 for the 170th Akutagawa Prize. So yeah, so she's been nominated twice, and she finally got she finally won for her latest book, which is called Zombie Kaishu Fu, which means the zombie collector. This book sounds really, really fun. I really want to buy this one. In fact, I was at the bookstore yesterday and I really had to stop myself from buying the book, because I told myself, no, you already own one of her books. Read this first, then you can read the zombie book. Because I can't, I have access to Japanese bookstores, so I don't need to be in a hurry to buy books. I can buy them whenever I want. So let me get through the books I already have, and then we can buy more. But it was really, really hard. It was really hard for me to not buy that book. But let me finally tell you what it's about. So Zombie Kaishu Fu, the zombie collector. It's about this woman who, her husband and herself have lost their jobs due to AI. And so she starts playing this virtual reality game, and she becomes really hooked on it. But she's not playing it like most people play a game. Like, she's not a hero who's trying to shoot, zombies and whatnot. No, she's playing as an NPC. And so her role in the game is to pick up all the zombie corpses. So all the bodies of zombies that have been killed by other players. And that's like just what she does. And the thing is that she feels validation from that. She feels like she has, like she's fulfilling a very important role, that was validation that was stolen from her by AI. So I think it's a book about humans sort of finding their worth in a world where AI is like taking over our jobs, basically. So I think that just sounds really, really interesting. I have a feeling because I understand why this won, because AI is a huge topic right now, and it's just so on the mark. And obviously, by now she's been nominated 3 times, so she's obviously doing very well with her writing. But yeah, I understand why this, not even having read the book, but just by the topic itself, and like the fact that the book is so socially conscious about what's going on right now, it just really makes sense. And so I think this will definitely get translated into English, because it's just catnip for publishers. Akutagawa Prize winner, female voice, female character, and very current issues, especially talking about AI. This will make the rounds abroad. I think publishers are going to be scrambling to be the ones who get to translate this book. So there you go. I think out of all the books that I want to read on in this series, Zombie Collector, yeah, for sure. I can't wait to buy that. I would have already bought it if I wasn't trying to be really, very conscious about my buying Japanese books. Waruichi, Bad Blood, I think will be really interesting. I like the idea of this character being obsessed with the fact that like blood will reveal your past. I'm curious to see how she resolves that problem in the book. And then the other book is I I think Auntie Good Morning. I think because Auntie Good Morning, the author, Miyagi, has already been translated so much, like she is quite a literary darling, and has so much positive criticism from people. I think this one would be interesting to read as well, because I also like the idea of like this positive obsessed society, and I think US is definitely falls prey to that as well. I mean, Japan and US both are very like, you know, why are you saying something bad? Like if you're gonna say something bad, then just, you know, move, you know, don't be here. I mean, how many times have you seen on the internet, if you don't like it, leave, you know? Like I remember when I was still living in the US and I went to the 4th of July fireworks in my hometown, and I went with my friend and then one of her friends. And being French, like in French society, it's very common for us to criticize things. It doesn't mean that we dislike something. It doesn't mean that we hate it or we think it's bad. It's just, it's very common to critique and create conversation about something and like question things. And so I had made the statement that the fireworks could be better. Like I had an amazing time. I had a really, really good time. It was really, really fun. But the fireworks themselves, to be perfectly honest, was kind of boring. It was just like, put up all the fireworks at once and then you're done after 10 minutes. Like what's exciting about that? Like there was no tension, there was no buildup, there was no theme. Like we're celebrating the 4th of July of the United States, so why, like, can't you just do like a blue, white, red kind of theme for like maybe like 3 minutes where you just like pop up some colors and or like have blue, white, red like streamers all of a sudden that come up to where, I mean, that would kind of look like France if you put them in a rectangular pattern. But like I don't know, you can play around with fireworks quite a bit, but they just like, you know, American style, just put it up all at once, create a big boom, and we're supposed to applaud. And so when I was critiquing the fireworks, the guy, my friend's friend said like, oh well, you're not very patriotic, you're very anti-American, like why are you even here? And I'm just like, saying like giving like constructive criticism that about like how we could get more enjoyment out of something we've already enjoyed, but we could even do better. Like we could have more fun, it could be more cool, it could be more this, doesn't mean you're like not patriotic. Like yeah, so there's, I think both Japan and the US kind of suffer from this fact that like you have to say something good about everything without any criticism. And I think a book that really looks at that idea and criticizes it itself and says like, you know what, like just let me be sad about something, let me like be realistic about my situation and realistic about things are going on without being like labeled as like a negative person, you know? So yeah, those three books sound really, really interesting to me. But yeah, I really want to read The Zombie Collector. I'm really excited. I love the idea that of someone who's playing the role of an NPC and finding validation out of that. And then like the fight against AI. I think that's really, really fun. So there you go. Those are the results of the 175th Akutagawa Prize for the beginning of 2026. All right, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video next week, and then I will also see you in my next video for Akutagawa Prize, the 176th Akutagawa Prize, which usually that is announced, that will be announced in February, January or February, I don't know, but I'll see you in that next video. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.